Vishwas Chakravarti explains it as a verse which is speaking about jnana process, while Sridhar Swami and Prabhupada, they explain it as verse speaking about bhakti process. So in any case, understand what is the point. That when the bhakti yoga is rendered unto Bhagavan Vasudeva, so it can quickly generate vairagya and jnana. So even if you take this verse to mean for jnana process, so even on the path of jnana, one has to practice bhakti. Uh, one cannot disregard bhakti altogether. So they also practice bhakti as a sadhana, uh, as a means. So when they practice bhakti as means, they don't have this misunderstanding like Mayavadis, where they think that Krishna is Maya or his form is temporary. No. Typically, the jnanis, they do understand that Krishna is also transcendental personality. He is a transcendental person. That form is actually Brahman. Uh, but they take it as Savishesha Brahman, meaning they say that we are actually interested in Nirvishesha Brahma. That Brahman, that feature which is devoid of any form, any name, any taste, any attributes, any of that sort. So that's why, although jnanis, they know about Supreme Lord's transcendental status, but because of their prior sanskaras, impressions, because of the association they are in, they are attracted to the Nirvishesha Brahma feature, Nirguna Brahma, as they call it, or Nirvishesh Brahma. Uh, So that's why we see that they may have bhakti as part of their sadhana, but ultimately they are interested in that destination where there is no practice of bhakti or anything like that. It is complete advaita. Uh, it is complete oneness, merging into the absolute this way. But this verse is telling that even they have to practice bhakti yoga. So that will quickly generate vairagya and jnana, and by which there will be the realization of this Brahman feature. They will realize that they are not body but spirit soul. This way. Otherwise, if they don't take up to bhakti, then it is very difficult for them to make progress. Then just by some mechanical means or just by studying some shastra, it is not that easy to make progress on that path. Kleshodhiktarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavad bhilavapyate. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, and that path is extremely filled with hardships because it is, it's not easy to meditate on Nirguna Brahman without taking help of bhakti. So by bhakti, they first situate themselves in sattva guna. They bring their mind, which is rajas and tamas, first they bring it in sattva guna. And then they want to only meditate on that nirguna Brahma this way. So that's how the point of this verse is even jnana process needs bhakti. And if we take this verse to mean bhakti process, then it is clear that bhakti process naturally produces vairagya and jnana. You don't have to extraneously, externally, separately endeavor for that. So we don't have to practice detachment like the way jnanis or yogis have to practice separately, trying to practice very severe uh, practices of detachment like panchagni tapa, surrounding oneself by fire from all four sides, or submerging oneself in freezing cold waters in the winter. Panchagni Tapa in the summer. We don't have to take up such severe practices of like extremely severe fasting uh, or something like that. No. The limbs of bhakti themselves, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, also they may involve some sort of practices of detachment, but the focus is on nine limbs there. So Bhakti Yoga itself, by following nine processes, will generate Vairagya. Similarly, it will also generate Jnana also. So Jnana means it will generate this understanding that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. Uh, Not only that, it will also generate understanding about Supreme Lord, His energies, His qualities, pastimes, form. It will also give understanding about our own nature, the nature of the jiva. Technically, these are called Tat Padartha Jnana and Tvam Padartha Jnana. Tat Padartha, as in Tatvam Asi. So Tat Padartha Jnana means knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Tvam Padartha Jnana means knowledge of the Jivatma. So this is there in Bhakti also, right? Is it that the Bhaktas are devoid of that knowledge? No, they also have that knowledge. Huh? So that comes automatically. Automatically means not like just sitting peacefully and idly. That is not automatic. Automatic means by following the nine limbs of Bhakti seriously. So that nine limbs of Bhakti obviously involves Shravanam also. So one should be enthusiastic in Shravanam. One should be enthusiastic in Kirtanam. One should be enthusiastic in all other aspects of Bhakti. So that is called as Ashu, quickly and automatically. Otherwise, sometimes there is some very simplistic idea of Bhakti automatically generates Jnana and Vairagya. Without hearing one Bhagavatam class also, without taking Bhakti's process like chanting seriously, uh, you just practice Bhakti. Now, if you don't take those limbs seriously, what exactly is practicing Bhakti then? Isn't it? So, this is the point. So if we don't hear Bhagavatam, if we don't hear Bhagavad Gita, if we don't understand scrutinizingly Shastras and try to practice them, how will that jnana come just like that? It will not come just like that. So the point is, bhakti process following has its own elements of how one receives the transcendental knowledge and all that aspect. Of course, sometimes some aspect like mercy is just overhyped or overemphasized. Just a minute. हाँ मेरा क्लास चल रहा है प्रभु क्या है नहीं बाद में अभी मेरा क्लास है प्रभु ओके जस्ट अ मिनट हरे कृष्णा मुकेश मेरा क्लास चल रहा है अभी एक मिनट रुको भाई मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ मैं बोल रहा हूँ यार इस महीने की पेमेंट जल्दी मिल जाए तो हाँ मैं बात करता हूँ Okay. So, yes, Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha, Prakrishta Rupena Yojitaha. It's not a wishy-washy Bhakti Yoga. Uh, Wishy-washy Bhakti Yoga means you understand a very casual kind of Bhakti Yoga where one is not cultivating the limbs properly. Uh, that is not Prayojita. So Bhakti Yoga, which is properly executed, that generates very quickly Vairagyam and Jnanam. We see that. Otherwise, if we see that Bhakti Yoga is not rendered, it is rendered very casually, then one may not see a very good detachment, or one may not see also very proper knowledge of understanding of Shastra, Bhakti process and all. Some basic understanding one may receive, and one may have some basic level of, you could say, detachment. But if we are talking about these factors, the way the jnanis develop like that, so then it needs a proper execution also. So if that is done, the vairagya and jnana will quickly develop in the bhakta. Yad Brahma Darshan, Yasmat, by which there will be Brahma Darshanam, there will be the realization of the Supreme Lord. This is the point. It is said by less intelligent men that Bhakti Yoga is meant for persons who are not advanced in transcendental knowledge and renunciation. But the fact is that if one engages in devotional service of Lord in full Krishna consciousness, he does not have to attempt separately. So that's the very essential point. We don't have to separately attempt to practice detachment. We can do it only by automatically following bhakti's limbs. Extraneous, we don't have to do anything. Or to wait for an awakening of transcendental knowledge. It is said that one who engages unflinchingly in the devotional service of the Lord, you see, always these qualifiers will be there. Prayojitaha, unflinchingly, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana, sarvair gunes tatra samasate sura. He's quoting, he's basically speaking that verse here. So all the good qualities of demigods develop in a devotee who is performing that unflinching devotional service, akinchana bhakti. One cannot discover how such good qualities develop in the body of a devotee, but actually it happens, isn't it? We see that by execution of devotional service, soon he starts becoming bedecked with all wonderful qualities, actually. The humility will come, then the renunciation will come, detachment will come, knowledge will come, tolerance, patience, all these wonderful qualities start manifesting. In fact, if they are not manifesting, then we have to look in our own life that why it is not happening. So he quotes about even Mragari, how he was not later prepared to kill even an ant. Brahma Darshanam, Prabhupada says. If Brahman is impersonal, then there is no question of darshanam, which means seeing face to face. So, Prabhupada is saying Brahma Darshanam. So, if Brahman is impersonal, what do you mean by Brahma Darshanam? Right? Darshanam, he takes the meaning to mean seeing face to face, right? That's primary meaning of the word darshanam, like that. So if it means seeing the Supreme Personality, of seeing face to face, then actually it doesn't so much apply for a Brahman. So that's what he goes by, that straightforward meaning of the word darshanam. Unless the seer and the seen are persons, there is no darshanam, like that. So it is very wonderful expansion. So that's why Brahma Darshanam means that as soon as one sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can at once realize what impersonal Brahman is. Secondarily, the Darshanam can also mean the experience, the Anubhava. It can also mean the realization in that way. Yes, but primarily, yes, Darshanam, as Prabhupada is saying, seeing face to face this way. So actually, in that way, the verse applies to bhakti process, because bhakti process only gives the opportunity to see the Lord face to face. Even yoga process does not give that opportunity to see the Lord face to face. Jnana, no question. You can't see the Brahman, right? In yoga process, you cannot see Paramatma face to face. You can see him within the heart. But only bhakti process allows you to see the Lord face to face. So that's how we see that bhakti yoga is being glorified over here. So what happens then? What are the symptoms of such a person who sees the Lord face to face, or if you apply it for jnana, then who realizes, that he is Brahman, he is uh, Atma, he is not the body. Uh, so for how do you recognize such a person? So that is spoken in next two verses. Yadasya chittam artheshu sameshvindriya vrittibhi na vigruhnati vaishamyam priyam apriyam ityuta. Yes.
The exalted devotee's mind becomes occupied in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable.
Yeah. So you see, such a devotee, what happens? Such a devotee's chittam, uh, that particular chittam, meaning his mind, we see that there is no vaishamyam in his mind. There is no, this is good, this is bad, this I don't like, I like that, I don't like this. And this sort of discrimination, this sort of feeling of vishamta, which means difference. So that goes away completely. Hmm. Because he sees everything sameshu artheshu indriya vrittibhi. He sees everything with a position of equanimity. Uh, he sees everything with equal vision. Sameshu artheshu. सारे अर्थ मतलब objects, sense objects. He sees them with equal vision. He does not see something is unpleasant and something as pleasant. Just sees everything as uh, an opportunity, to engage in Krishna's service. How can this particular thing or person or a man or a woman or child or whatever, how they can be engaged in Krishna's service? That's how he sees. So that's why in that position it is said, Priyam, Apriyam, this is dear to me, this is not dear to me. This sort of Vaishamya difference goes away. The significance of advancement in transcendental knowledge and detachment is exhibited in the personality of highly advanced devotee. For him, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable because he does not act in any way for his personal sense gratification. See, if everything is for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we see that what is favorable for service and what is unfavorable for service, that only remains the criterion, right? Because it is not so much individual sense gratification aspect. So I like this, I don't like that. This sort of attitude would go away. We would see in terms of, what is useful for service of the Lord uh, and what is not useful for the service of the Lord. Uh, that becomes the criterion rather than one's own, I like this, I don't like that, this sort of thing. You see? He can understand, such a devotee can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. Yahi bhal, yahi manda, sab manodharma, right? So we see that basically the things have their utility in Krishna's service. Otherwise, good, bad, all those stuff, we see they are simply mental concoctions. Even if so-called good thing in the material world, uh, if it is not utilized in service of Lord, it is bad only, right? So bad is bad and good not utilized in Krishna's service is also bad this way. So that's why it is being spoken in that manner. सतदैवात्मनात्मानं निस्संगं समदर्शनं हेयोपादेय रहितं आरूढ़ं पदमीक्षते. Yes.
Because of his transcendental intelligence, the pure devotee is equipped in his vision and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior, and he feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Person.
Yes. So prior verse and this verse, they're talking about such a realized, such a person who has achieved uh, Jivan Mukti. He has achieved. Basically, he is ready to go back home, back to Godhead, because he has perfected his life in this life already. Jivan Mukta condition. So what is mentioned? Sa tadaeva atmana atmanam nissangam samadarshanam. So at that point of time, he sees, uh, he realizes that he is not the body, he is spirit soul, and he sees his Atma as completely free from all bondage, and he sees everywhere with equal vision. Heyopadeya rahitam arudham padamikshate. And he sees that there is nothing inferior or superior. Uh, he sees in that way everything as energy of the Supreme Lord. And situated in that position, he is actually ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Meaning he is already sort of he is liberated in this world. Uh, so such a person, he becomes ready. Arudham, uh, he becomes ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Uh, this way. Or if these verses are applied to jnana, then it means he becomes ready to merge in Brahman uh, this way. So the equal vision of such a great devotee, such a great transcendentally realized person, that is being spoken over here in these two verses. Perception of agreeable and disagreeable arises from attachment. A devotee has no personal attachment to anything. Therefore, for him, there is no question of agreeable and disagreeable. For the service of the Lord, he can accept anything, even though it may be disagreeable to his personal interest. So that's the point for us to learn that agreeable, disagreeable, these things, they are appropriate if we are thinking only in terms of our own liking, disliking, sankalpa, vikalpa. But if we are thinking about the service of the Lord, then that's it. Whatever is favorable for service of the Lord, even though it may not be agreeable to our personal taste, still a devotee enthusiastically accepts it. Uh, Isn't it? So sometimes the service is what we like. Sometimes the service is what we may not be liking so much because of certain psychophysical nature. We may feel that service is not so much as per my nature. But if it is needed, if it is being instructed, if that's what our spiritual master or the superior authorities want, uh, then we are happy to do it uh, like that. Of course, we should certainly see also that the that sort of scenario is also allowing you to pursue certain interest that you have in Krishna's service as per your psychophysical nature, right? Within bhakti, the need of the hour is there, the need of the hour, need of the society, and accordingly we should render the service. Uh, but there is also this other factor of recognizing a person's potential and engaging that person in such a way that his potential can be very naturally gravitated towards bringing wonderful results for Krishna. So that is also the responsibility of superiors to see that what is the most natural way of engaging this person. Uh, in that way, we can see that we don't have to be even behind people so much because they will very happily and easily they will accomplish so much for Krishna's service because we are engaging them as per their natures and all. So both aspects are there, I mean to say. Point is, we are interested in Krishna's service. If we can follow as it is, whatever is the desire of spiritual master and the superiors and all, that is most wonderful, like that. At the same point of time, from the superior side, they also are concerned about engaging a person in such a way that he is happy in Krishna consciousness. You know, he is very happily placed and feels very joyful and nourished by the service that he is rendering. If one is not feeling nourished by the service that he is rendering, so then that situation should also be addressed if it is not happening. So this is the point. For personal interest, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable. Everything is done for the Lord, and therefore he is free from attachment and aversion. That is the transcendental stage of neutrality. So very nice, Prabhupada is writing. That is the transcendental stage of neutrality. Material stage of neutrality means where person may be devoid of emotions only, right? He is like dead person. Usko kuch, whether this or that or like. That is the transcendental stage of neutrality. It means that Bhakta is not like that, emotionally dead, or it's not like he does not have any particular persona, psychophysical nature, emotions, or like that. But for Lord's service, he is ready to go against the nature also. No problem. Whatever is expected for Lord's service, he is ready to do it. A pure devotee enjoys life in the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So that's how. So although these two verses may be describing a Siddha, but point is, what is natural for Siddha? It is a cultivation for Sadhaka. So that's why this also becomes relevant to Sadhaka as a matter of practice and cultivating this sort of attitude, isn't it? So that's how we see that these three verses describe this aspect of how bhakti can give the results of all other paths, and the other paths can never give their results without bhakti. So the logic of this aspect, that why bhakti can give the result of all other paths, that is described in the next verse. This is also very popular verse, explained in commentaries and sandarbhas and all. Jnanamatram param brahma paramatmeshvara puman दृश्यादिभिः पृथग्भावैर्भगवानेक ईयते.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge, but according to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramatma, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as the Purusha Avatara.
You see, it's a very nice verse. You can see, what is it saying? Bhagavan eka iyate. One Bhagavan is only perceived. Bhagavan is only perceived in different ways. How? Drishyadibhi prathak bhavai. So prathak bhave means by different methods, by different sadhanas. Sadhana is the means or method. So by different methods, one Bhagavan only is seen differently. Acha. So what are those different methods? Drishyadibhi. Drishyadibhi means Drishi adibhi. So Drishi means jnana. By processes such as jnana, yoga, bhakti, by all these different processes, that same Bhagavan, Eka Bhagavan, it is perceived as Jnanamatra Param Brahma, or he is perceived as Paramatma, Ishvara Puman. And obviously, he is perceived also as Bhagavan, because that Bhagavan is obviously the ultimate conception. That's why it is being said Bhagavan is only perceived as Jnanamatra Param Brahma. And this Brahman, which is Jnanamatram, which is just completely non-dual consciousness, or Paramatma, it is perceived as Paramatma, who is Ishvara, who is the controller of the material world, and Puman, he is the Purusha. So you see, that is what is this verse saying. So it is a very nice logic actually. See, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that the verse is addressing this idea that how is that bhakti process can give the result of all other paths. So he says this is because this verse is answering the logic for that. Because actually, Bhagavan only is being worshipped and he is only being perceived by all other paths in different ways by different sadhanas. So ultimately, when a jnani is, wanting to merge in Brahman, he wants to realize Brahman. Actually, that feature is of Bhagavan only. But by the process of jnana, he is able to access only that all-pervasive feature of Supreme Lord, devoid of any name, fame, qualities, pastimes, and all that, right? Like somebody from a distance sees the hill. So he is looking at the same hill, but he is only able to perceive hill as a green lump or something like that. Just a green figure, green lump from a distance. Why? Because his process is like that. He is looking from a distance. Now, when someone sees by process of meditation like yoga, so then that same Paramatma is realized, or rather that same Bhagavan is realized as Paramatma along with his material energies. Paramatma is God. He is generator, organizer, destroyer. So in connection with the material world, Paramatma is realized by another process. And by the process of rendering service unto Supreme Lord, Bhakti process, we see that Bhagavan is realized in his self-same original position. So the yogi, whatever he wants to accomplish by realizing Paramatma, because that Paramatma is feature of Bhagavan only. So that's why Bhagavan is only giving him that particular destination. Bhagavan is only giving the jnanis their particular destination of merging into Brahman. So, because Bhagavan is only giving the jnanis their goal, giving the yogis their goal, and giving the bhaktas also their goal, so that's why bhakti process, which targets Bhagavan only, can accomplish everything. You understand this? See, it's like a very wealthy man, right? So, a very wealthy man to the social reformer, suppose he gives 1 crore rupees, and to some person who is running a matha, he gives 100 crore rupees, and to a devotee, he gives 200 crore rupees. So we see that because he is the same man who is actually giving to everyone. So that is why if the devotee wants what is asked by a jnani, that is uh, like what is asked by here in our example, social reformer. So 1 crore rupees he needs for something. So as a devotee, if he asks to that person, so can he not give that? He can certainly give, because he is ready to give even 200 crores. So what to speak of this 1 crore? So you understand what point I am trying to make is, because Bhagavan only is rewarding all these people in terms of their process. So that's why when that Bhagavan is worshipped by the process of bhakti, so he can actually give reward of bhakti, or he can give reward of any other path also. This is the point. So that's why it is mentioned over here in this way, that Bhagavan is only perceived in different ways this way. So that's how even the Swarga or such. Now that is a, Lord is there and he has his energy. So he is rewarding as they are approaching him. If they want Lord's benefit in terms of material nature, so Lord gives that benefit. What is that? That is Swarga. Swarga is just a benefit from Lord's side of his material energy, right? Someone wants little higher benefit, so that is jnani. So he wants benefit from the aspect of Lord's Brahmajyoti, Brahman feature. So Lord gives that. If someone wants benefit as attaining Paramatma realization, so he gives that. And a devotee, he gets the highest destination in terms of attaining the spiritual world. So, because that one Bhagwan only is rewarding everyone, so that's why that one process, which is bhakti, can reward actually also benefit of any other process. So that's the meaning of this verse. Srila Vishwan Chakravarti gives one more meaning. So that is also quoted by Prabhupada in purport. So that's why we will understand. So there Vishwanath Chakravarti says this Drishyadibhi, it should be taken as Drishya Adibhi. Matlab Drishya or Adrishya. So he says that what does this mean? He says that one personality called Bhagavan, he is understood as Drishya feature, meaning visible feature, or Adrishya feature, means invisible feature, by different processes. So by different processes, you realize the Supreme Lord as Adrishya or as Drishya. So take the process of Brahman. So by worshipping Supreme Lord as Brahman and realizing the Brahman, what is the result? Is one realizing the supreme truth as drishya or adrishya, if it's the path of Brahman? Pandurang Sharan Prabhu, what do you think? By path of Brahman, worshipping Brahman, one is realizing the Supreme Lord as drishya or adrishya?
Adrishya.
Adrishya, very nice. By practicing the process of Paramatma, is he realizing the Supreme Lord as drishya or adrishya?
Initially Adrishya, then when he manifests, maybe Drishya.
Okay. And Bhagavan is certainly
Drishya.
Drishya. Yes. So you see, how is it is? So you are almost right. Certainly, by Brahman process, by process of worshipping Brahman, you realize that Supreme Lord as someone who is invisible, adrishya, because Brahman can never be seen. Brahman can never be, uh, you can say, touched or seen or spoken to or smelt or like that anyway. So that is adrishya feature. As far as Paramatma is concerned, we see that Paramatma is also adrishya. But when Paramatma is realized, in the heart he can be seen. So in that way, because we can see him in the heart, so you may consider him to be like drishya. But actually, drishya means seeing face to face. So that's why even Paramatma is said to be adrishya. He can only be seen within the heart. So Bhagavan feature is actually the feature which is drishya, which can be seen in front of you, seeing face to face the Supreme Lord. So by bhakti, we see that the Supreme Lord can be seen face to face, like that. Or if it is avatar kal, if he is descending as avatar, that time also we see that he can be seen face to face. So Supreme Lord in avatar kala, or if you are a premi bhakta, then he is drishya. But otherwise he is adrishya also. Like that. So drishyadibhi prathak bhavai bhagwan ekayate, which means that by different processes of trying to realize the Supreme Lord, we see that same Bhagavan is realized as adrishya or drishya in this way. So that's how this verse has been explained by Acharyas. So now you can see purport is very straightforward. The word drishyadibhi is significant. According to Jiva Goswami, drishi means jnana, philosophical research. By different processes of philosophical research under different concepts, we see that the same Bhagavan or Supreme Personality of Godhead is understood as impersonal Brahman. Similarly, by Eightfold Yoga system, he appears as the Paramatma. But by pure Krishna consciousness, he is understood as absolute truth, Supreme Person. So that's why transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. Drishi. Drishi means knowledge there. This ultimately, to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept Bhakti Yoga. So we see, otherwise one will realize Brahman and Paramatma features only. The devotee can see the Supreme Lord face to face, but the Jnani and the Yogi cannot. So now he is explaining Vishwan Chakravarti's commentary. They cannot be elevated to the positions of associates of the Lord. There is no evidence in the scriptures stating that by cultivating knowledge or worshipping the impersonal Brahman, one can become a personal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nor by executing the yogic principles can one become an associate of the Supreme Godhead. Of course, if one is practicing Yoga Mishra Bhakti, then he can. But if one is practicing Bhakti Mishra Yoga with the same goal as the Jnanis, then he cannot become associate of Supreme Godhead. Not possible. So we see that that's why impersonal Brahman feature is considered to be invisible. Some yogis see the four-handed form Vishnu sitting within the heart, and therefore in their case also the Supreme Lord is invisible, because they are seeing him only within the heart, not in front. Only for the devotees is the Lord visible. So in this way, Drishyadibhi word has been explained. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is both invisible and visible, there are different features of the Lord. So the Paramatma feature and Brahman feature are invisible, but the Bhagavan feature is visible. So he quotes Vishnu Puran also for that. It is quoted by Jiva Goswami. So if you see the universal form or the formless Brahman, they are invisible, they are inferior features, right? Universal form is also, we see that it is a material form, right? So one may imagine the limbs of the Lord and all, but that form is imaginary form. So that's why these are considered to be, the universal form is considered a material form, and the Brahman effulgence is considered, it is considered transcendental, but it is considered to be invisible. The concept of a universal form is material, and the concept of impersonal Brahman is spiritual. But the highest spiritual understanding is the personality of Godhead. So this is how This was the logic behind why bhakti process can give the goal of any other process. Because Bhagwan is only rewarding everyone. So the process which captures lotus feet of Bhagwan only, which pleases Bhagwan only, then what can it not accomplish? It can accomplish everything, isn't it? And because Bhagwan is only giving the goal of any other goal, so without having proper understanding and worshipping Bhagwan, those particular paths cannot give the goal of their process. Just like a Mayavadi, because he has misunderstanding about Krishna, he is not able to merge in Brahman. He never ever can achieve Brahman because he has complete misunderstanding about Krishna's position in this way. So that is the point over here. Yes. Is there anything you want to ask on this section? Yes, Panduram Saranpo.
Hare Krishna. This very nice verse. Just wanted to know, this cannot be interpreted in any other way, na? Means impersonalists cannot take it other way, that Bhagwan, Brahman's features are Paramatma and then Bhagwan.
No, it can't be. It can't be done like that, Prabhu, because you can see that the iyate is close to the word Bhagavan here in the verse. So that's why Bhagavan eka iyate. That would be the understanding very clearly. It can't, iyate cannot go to jnana matram param brahma that way. It is Bhagavan eka iyate. So even when they translate it, they have to do the translation like that only. Because we see Drishyadivi and Prathak Bhave, these are, okay, that's grammatical aspect, don't worry about it. So Bhagavan Eka Iyate. So who is perceived in different features? So the closest word to that will be Bhagavan. So that's why it will refer to Bhagavan only.
So Sanskrit wise also it cannot be reversed in any way.
It cannot be reversed. Yeah.
Okay. So then this also verse can be used to explain that Brahmaniti Paramatmaiti Sabhyate, how Jiva Goswami, I think he gives that Bhagwan is the superior one. So this verse can directly be helpful to establish that fact in that verse.
Okay. This verse is there, and there is one verse also in the teachings of Jada Bharat. So these are the verses that go always together. Brahmeti Paramatmiti Bhagwaniti, then this one, and there is one verse which is there in the Jada Bharat section also, which also talks similar, same concept. I forgot the verse, but yeah, it's there. Yes.
Yes, please. And in last paragraph, this Vishnu Puran, that thing is said, Vishnu Brahma Swarupena Swayam Eva Vyavastita. So that also is straight explanation. We cannot reinterpret otherwise in Sanskrit wise also, right?
No, Prabhu. Yeah, we cannot. Vishnu, like Jiva Goswami there, he quotes the whole thing. So you see, it is very straightforward there. In fact, Vishnu Puran is actually quite a straightforward Puran. It is known for being very straightforward in explaining. You see. यस सो यदुक्तम विष्णु पुराणे प्रथम अंशे विष्णु पुराण के प्रथम अंश में कहा गया है प्राकृतम ब्रह्म रूपस्य विष्णोः स्थानम अनुत्तमम तत्राव्यक्तम तत्राव्यक्त स्वरूपोऽसौ व्यक्त रूपो जगतपति. So it is mentioned that actually Vishnu, if you say his sthana is anuttamam. Anuttamam means it is the greatest, it is the best, like that. So he said, what is mentioned here is that Brahma Rupasya Vishnu, Vishnu who is like Brahma Rupa. Now again, Brahma Rup meaning of Brahma Rup is that he is actually made up of Chit Shakti. He is not made up of Maya Shakti or like that. So we see that this sthanam, this Vaikuntha of Lord Vishnu is Anuttama, it is the greatest. So sthanam also very clearly it means it is talking about that Vaikuntha realm, because you never use the word sthana for Brahman. ऐसा कभी नहीं होता कि ब्रह्मन का स्थान, we don't say like that. So sthanam means it is talking about one particular place which is of Lord Vishnu. So tatra avyakta swaruposo vyakta rupo jagatpati. So we see that he says that that which is said to be avyakta swarup in terms of Brahman and all that, but that supreme person is actually there in vyakta rupa. He is there as a person standing in front of you, in that particular place. So this is how Vishnu Brahma Swarupena Swayam Vyavastuta. So in that place, Lord Vishnu, he in his transcendental form, Brahma Swarup, he is himself over there, Vyavasthita, he is situated there. It is like that. So iti asyartha. So Vishwanchakruti is also explaining like that. So the material world is said to be Prakritam, but Vishnu's sthan is said to be Anuttamam. And there Vishnu is said Vyakta Rupa also. He is visible there, he is standing in front, while the Brahman feature is Avyakta Swarup, like that. So that's the meaning. You can see that in the commentary also. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, anyone else has any question on that? Narhari Thakur Prabhu, yes.
Prabhuji, we are discussing about Vasudeva Bhakti Yoga Prayogita. So can you explain about this Prayogita terms? Because everyone is differently engaged in devotional service with different intensity. So, and the intensity also increases, depends on time plus, and very many things, factors are there. So, what makes it sure we keep progressing? Yes, Janayati asu vairagyam jnanam cheda hetukam. It said, and one is agreeable and disagreeable aspect was discussed in one of the purport. So there it is said that we are aligned with the desire, the authority. But we also means when it's Sutamubhav, we heard yesterday, means when we hear, then we also develop some understanding. So Shastric understanding. So when it doesn't align with the means we feel that it's not as so Shastric. It's like fundraising. Fundraising, too much involvement of the brahmacharis in fundraising. So it's kind of goes against the injection of the Shastras. So such kind also, we hear the injection of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like Swasthya Sadhana Seva, that sequence. So kind of in the institutional setup, state of compromise. So still agreeable, disagreeable concern, how much it is, means to the how much extent we should use it. I
Yeah.
hope you understand my.
Yes, I understand. Yes. So, Prabhu, there is, as we grow in bhakti, then the kind of freedom and the kind of uh, scope for taking decisions which are suited as per our understanding and all that grows. As we grow in bhakti, we will have more and more freedom. Initially, when we are executing bhakti, then our understanding may be limited, and in fact, our obedience and our attachment to our own ideas and all these factors are very prominent in the beginning, right? So what is expected is that we show a good example of obedience, and we develop that ability to be able to serve under someone else's instructions, to develop that selflessness. uh, that is expected. But as our understanding grows and as we start getting the proper understanding of various subtle points of bhakti, as we start understanding emphasis of our sampradaya or our movement, so then we see that we may be allowed some more freedom to execute and all. So, as we grow in understanding also, with proper understanding of Shastras and all, so if you see certain ideas that don't seem to be very much in line with Shastra, so one thing you can do is you can discuss that and you can try to understand the logic behind or understanding behind those things. But still, if you're not convinced by that logic, and if you feel like, yeah, this is going too much into extreme side, it's not so much in line with the proper execution of bhakti and all. So you can seek higher guidance. And if they are loving, then you can even take a stand in which you don't have to necessarily be part of that. So you can render some other service where you feel that it is more in line with Shastra, more in line with, yeah, because this, ours being a society, yes, certain things, they go a little bit beyond what is necessary. And then because of that, we see that they sometimes are not so much aligned with the traditional duties that how we should execute and all. But we also understand on the other side, it is organization, so it has certain needs. So it is sort of justified in that sense. So now, when this sort of situation is there, then it depends upon, are we ourselves happy in executing that sort of service? So if we feel we are not happy and we see also it is like a little bit fringe only, it is not very clear as per Shastric direction, so we can stay away from it. We don't have to follow that necessarily. Uh, like sometimes in some places, even in ISKCON and all, brahmacharis are engaged in some services which are like not at all good for brahmacharis. They will weaken the brahmachari eventually, and it's just not good. So, but then they are there. So now one can always justify saying this is the need of the temple and all that, but you also have to keep the dignity of the renounced order, uh, and you have to also protect them. We have to make sure that they don't get contaminated by too much of that sort of thing. So that's how we see that these things certainly need some discrimination. And on one hand is the need of the society and organization, so you can start justifying anything. And on the other hand, there is the traditional aspect of what brahmacharis should do, what grihasthas should do, what are their proper duties and all. So it's a conflict between these two factors always, Prabhu. And in this conflict, we can see how much we are comfortable with. If we are not comfortable to render a particular service because it is not so much suited for brahmacharya or like that, we should just stay away then from such a service. We can do some other service. And that will not be seen as lack of surrender or anything. It is just that one is protective of one's spiritual life, and we can have honest communication on that front. Uh, we can even present it in the manner of, well, personally, I don't have the ability to do it. Somebody else has, let him do it. But personally, I would not want to do it in that manner. So, yes, Prabhu, it is true that if you don't find something is very shastric and all, so what I'm saying is always check with the understanding of the seniors. If you don't feel satisfied, then go further. Still, if you don't feel satisfied, then you express openly and honestly, and then you can take up some other service. There is no dearth of service in the moment, right? You know. So usually speaking, individuals also have different moods. The leaders also have their own moods. And then because of that, sometimes they may want to justify a certain thing as the highest. But actually, we see that the Shastra, that's why the knowledge of Shastra should also be there, so that one can see in right perspective whether this is how it should be or not. So, but as a brahmachari, one who is independently thoughtful, we should also not be fearful to take an independent stand, like that. We Because that's what a brahmana is. He is supposed to be actually very thoughtful, and his ideas should be aligned with the Shastra. So if we don't see that, so we can certainly question about that. But if after questioning we are clarified and satisfied, then we follow with full confidence that way. So being a society which is trying to preach and it's institutional, so sometimes, yes, we do some things, see some practices which are not very favorable for brahmacharya, some services which are not very favorable for renounced class. So that time we should see how much we can handle. And if we don't see it is proper, it is going beyond our ability to handle, or it is just outrightly wrong, so then we should take an independent stand. Makes sense to you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that first question was Vasudev Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, not that wishy-washy devotional service. You are saying that. So I want to understand that means sadhaka means beginners will render some X amount of devotional service, and after 4 years, different amount of devotional service. So all of them are executing the Prayojita. They are doing Prayojita only. So what it means besides this?
Yeah, so Prayojita, yes, Prayojita means where the aspect of the following the limbs of devotional service like Shravanam, Kirtanam, following the principles of bhakti, so basic like regulative principles, apart from, I mean, just following basic regulative principles, all other limbs of sadhana bhakti, they are followed very, very strictly, and one cultivates a very proper Shravanam, one develops the Shastriya Shraddha, one is not just going on sentimentally, but one also understands things very well and executes them with great faith. Uh, so, usually we have within Prabhupada's movement a certain sort of bhakti process and all that. So, that covers all the limbs of bhakti very nicely. So, that's what is bhakti, but one should perform those limbs very, very properly. Uh, Otherwise, sometimes we see that sometimes in some places there is only service, 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 and these people are never educated. These people, they neglect the aspect of chanting. These people are never interested in any of these aspects which will sustain them in the bhakti, like that. Or in some other places, there is only all have become Bhajananandi kind of people and who don't render any practical service, and they are just, eating and sleeping and maybe doing some little bit reading or bhajan here, there, like in mathas there are many places like that in Vrindavan also. And they don't want to teach Shastra, they don't want to preach, they don't want to share knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So life is more or less like very sort of stagnant life. So that is also not good, right? Kirtanam is important. So that Kirtanam also means sharing that knowledge with others. Uh, So, yes, Prayojita Bhakti means the limbs of Bhakti are done proper justice, especially the first three limbs, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. And these other aspects of Bhakti, they are followed very strictly, sadhana and all these aspects. So that is Prayojita. It's not a Bhakti which is just performed by some Laukik Shraddha. Just like that, or some sentimental bhakti, just like that. So in our case, as brahmacharis and all, these factors are very nicely taken care because of being in very good setups and all. But still, one important factor we should also see is that are we developing that aspect of proper understanding of Shastra, and are we rendering the service and all these other aspects as per the mood of the Sampradaya, the mood of Prabhupada, and the mood also which is in line with our ashram and in line with our the kind of life that we have taken. So these factors. So overall, just a very aware and awake kind of bhakti, and not just dragging along without much thought. So that's the point. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, very
Yeah, Krishna Kirtan, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. It's
You
called.
told about the Bhakti Mishra Yoga having the same goal as Jnani, so he can get with the association of Lord, and then Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Right.
Yeah. See, Yoga Mishra Bhakti is the process in which one practices the limbs of yoga, but actually his purpose is to achieve the Supreme Lord. His purpose is to achieve Supreme Lord in Shantarati, in Shantarasa, like that. So we see that in Bhakti Mishra Yoga, the purpose is to achieve Sayuja Moksha. So they render the process of yoga, but desire is to merge in absolute, to merge in Brahman. So that is Bhakti Mishra Yoga. So we'll see these terms in 28th chapter. Very clearly you will learn Karma Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti Mishra Karma, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti Mishra Jnana, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti Mishra Yoga. But yeah, that's the idea. If you have process like Bhakti Mishra Jnana or Bhakti Mishra Yoga, it basically means you want to achieve Brahman, Moksha, Sayujya. But Yoga Mishra Bhakti means you want to achieve Paramatma for the sake of meditating on Him, serving Him by meditation, Shantarasa. So same way, Jnana Mishra Bhakti also has the similar goal, which is Shantarati. So these are the goals of Bhakti Mishra, not Jnana Mishra Bhakti or Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So we'll study this in 28th chapter. Study. I think we'll pause here and we'll go ahead because I want to also complete this section. So in the end, I'll take some more questions. All right, text 27. So you see, okay, maybe we'll just take a 7 minutes break because I think we'll not be able to chant Gayatri otherwise. So 12:37, no? Let's start at 12:45 again. We probably will end by 1:30 or so. Looks like. Yeah. 13 more verses are there. So just take a break for 8 minutes. No problem. We'll start at 12:45. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we'll continue. So text 27. Etavaneva yogena samagreneha yoginah yujjate bhimato hyarto yadasangastu kritsnashah.
The greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga.
Yeah. So you can say he also speaks about what is a common goal, common factor which is there in all the yogas. So he says, Samagreneha yoginaha, Samagreneha yogena. By all the yoga process, there is one abhimato artha, there is one approved goal by all the yoga, whether it is bhakti yoga or karma, or rather bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, or ashtanga yoga. So one common goal is yada asangastu kritsnasha. Asanga. Complete detachment from matter is one common goal of all the yoga processes. Their individual goals differ, right? Bhakti has the goal of achieving prema. Jnana has the goal of achieving moksha. Yoga can have achieving the goal of moksha, or yoga can also, especially if one is practicing yoga mishra bhakti or like that. Otherwise, typically, yoga's goal is also moksha only. So we see that this is a common goal, complete detachment from matter. So what is yoga which is not talking about complete detachment from matter? You can see kritsnashaha asanga. Asanga, detachment, is not just detachment, but kritsnashaha, meaning complete detachment from matter. That is a common understanding of all the yogas. So this is how. There are three kinds of yoga: bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. Jnanis and yogis all try to get out of material entanglement. So they have their goals. But point is, complete detachment from matter is accepted by all of them as the goal. It is not accepted as the goal by karmakand process, but bhakti process, it does accept. Jnana, yoga, all of them. So that's why it is mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning, the purpose of all yoga is to detach one's sense activities from this material world. The final aims, however, are different. The jnanis want to become one with impersonal Brahm effulgence. Yogis want to realize Paramatma. But having realized Paramatma, what they want to do, they may want to merge in Brahman effulgence, realizing Paramatma. And devotees, they want to develop love of Godhead, go back home, back to Godhead. Yes. So these individual goals are different, but the common goal of detaching the mind and senses from all sense gratification is common. So if some yoga today, so many yogis and yoga teachers and all, right? So we see that if they are not teaching this fact of detachment from matter, complete detachment from matter, then it's not even yoga. Because the common understanding of yoga also they are not teaching. What to speak of those individual ultimate goals of the yoga? At least they should teach the common understanding, which is detachment from matter. But we see that yoga or like that in today's world is what? For enjoying better sensual pleasures, right? Keep your body fit in such a way that you can enjoy your senses more and more. So that is a complete diversion from the basic purpose of yoga also. Text 28. Jnanamekam parachinair indriyair brahma nirgunam avabhatyartha rupena bhrantya shabdadi dharmina. Yes. Please read.
Those who are adverse to the cultural and religious.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Those who are averse to the transcendence realize the supreme absolute truth differently through speculative sense perception, and therefore, because of mistaken speculation, everything appears to them to be relative.
Yeah. So that topic of Bhagavan, he only actually rewarding everyone, that is still going on, that is continuing. In between, only that one verse came where the last verse we spoke about a common goal of detachment from matter. But the theme is that only, that Bhakti and Bhagavan can bestow all the goals of all the paths. So this verse also is saying that we see that Nirguna Brahma, that transcendental absolute truth, but if our senses are directed towards sense objects, parachinai indriyai, that transcendental absolute truth, it is perceived as something which is, which is the sense objects of this world. Meaning what? See, this verse is understood in two ways. Vishwan Chakravarti says that this verse is actually speaking about the process of jnana, in which they speak like this, that the Nirguna Brahma is seen in this world as actually various objects. It is actually Nirguna Brahma. These objects and all that, we see that they don't exist. Bhrantya, by illusion, one is perceiving them like that. So, in that case, this is exactly how the Jnani people or Advaita people, they talk like that. But Prabhupada is translating the verse in devotional manner, where that word Nirguna Brahma, that is understood as transcendental reality. See, Supreme Lord is known as Nirguna Brahma. That actually the Supreme Lord is also called as Nirguna Brahma because he is transcendental personality. He is beyond the modes. Nirguna does not mean he does not have any qualities, but it means that he is beyond the modes. He does not have anything in the modes. So, if we take this word to mean devotionally, so words then means that actually Lord's energy is everywhere, but because one's desire is for enjoyment, one wants to enjoy the mind and the senses. That's what is the purpose of living entity in the material world. So because of that, that energy of the Lord is not perceived in his connection, but one just perceives it as artha rupena, shabdadi dharmina. One perceives this as, okay, this is a handsome boy, and that is a beautiful girl, and this is a very sweet sounding instrument, and that is a very cacophonous instrument, and this is very sweet, delicious food, and that is very bitter food, and all these things, these perceptions, they are devoid of connection to the Supreme Lord because of the desire to enjoy, like that. So everything in this world is actually energy of the Lord. But are we perceiving like that, right? One thing, how it is differently perceived because of the mentality. Like take example, one, like this example is given by the Chanakya, also Nitikars and all. Like one woman, one beautiful woman, she is perceived by a child as a motherly person, a mother. A child may look at her and he may feel like she is like his mother. A tiger may see that and he may see that lady only as a food, right? For him, he sees her as food, lunchbox. If you see a yogi may see the woman and may feel like this is just a illusion. This is actually illusion of Maya, uh, meant to distract me from the path of yoga. And a devotee may see that woman and may see her as actually a person who is meant for service of Krishna. She is a spirit soul and she is meant for service of Krishna. So potentially Krishna's servant. She should be engaged in Krishna's service like that. So you see, the same object is being perceived by different people as per different mentality. That is because of different mentality. So bhrantya, bhranti means mistaken. So because of the mistaken perception, we see that this material energy is perceived in such a different manner. So that's why Shastras speak about the knowledge. Develop the right knowledge, and with those jnana chakshu, with those proper eyes, then we see that one will be able to see the hand of Supreme Lord everywhere. See it as the energy of the Lord. This way. So everywhere is his energy. This is the point. It is in the same context. Bhagavan eka iyate. That same Bhagavan is being perceived in different manners. So everywhere what is there is Bhagavan. That's it. Bhagavan and his energy. When we say Bhagavan, we don't mean just Bhagavan devoid of energy. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. What does that mean? That means that actually everything is absolute truth and his energies. It is one package, absolute truth and energies. So either it is material energy, or it is spiritual energy, or it is Jiva Shakti, marginal energy. But it is Lord and energies, that's all, everything. So in that sense, everything is one because it is nothing exists except Supreme Lord and his energies. That is called Brahma. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. But if the mentality is not pure, one will not see that connection. Well, one will not see that as Lord's material energy or Lord's spiritual energy. One will see it as just an independent object meant for one's enjoyment. Like we gave the example of that woman being seen by different people in that manner. So this is the point of this verse, that parachinaihi indriyai, the senses which have that enjoying mentality, they are averse to serve the Lord, but instead they have a great desire to enjoy. So if that mentality is cured, then the whole world is perceived as belonging to the Supreme Lord. You can see sense perceptions such as oral reception of the sound of a drum, visual perception of a beautiful woman, perception of the delicious taste of a milk, all come through different senses and therefore differently understood. But when a Vaishnava sees all these things, he does not declare them to be illusion. The Mayavadis, they declare this diversity to be false, mithya. But Vaishnava philosophers do not accept different manifestation as false. They accept them as non-different from Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are display of his diverse energies. So you see, Mayavadi, and he wants to see everything as Brahman. But actually, if one is not seeing this connection of Lord and his energies, how can one see everything as Brahman? So that's why when Mayavadi sees matter, he wants to declare it as illusion. But that's not how Vaishnavas see. They don't say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Prabhupada says, although all glitters is not gold, this does not mean that a glittering object is false. Something is glittering, so you want to say it is not gold. Yes, agreed, it is not gold. But it's not that the object is only not existing. Something is glittering, no? So that is the point. So when we talk about material world, yes, it is not Brahman, it is not supreme, agreed, but it does not mean that it is false. Something is existing. So what is that? That is actually material energy. That is the manifestation of material energy, right? Oyster shell may appear to be silver or golden. So agreed that the oyster shells, Sipla, Shimpla. So that is not certainly silver or gold. But it does not mean that the oyster shell itself is illusion. It is just not there. No, it is there. No. Yes, it is not silver, but the shell is there. You have to accept that. It is not false. Right. So Mayavadis, they call this material world itself as false. So that is the point. Material world is not actually false. It is actually there. It's just that it is temporary. So this idea is understood by devotees. So we want to develop this attitude of everything being seen as potential of service to Krishna, like that. So that's the difference. So when we see material energy, it's not like we want to feel disgusting or we want to feel like, oh, this is a bondage for me. No, one wants to see that opportunity to be utilized in Krishna's service. Whether one can utilize in Krishna's service or not, that is another story. Like we see that some things we may not be qualified to engage them in Krishna's service. Like some woman is there, so better somebody else can engage her. Spiritual master can engage her. He can engage her nicely in Krishna's service. But point is, yeah, everything and every object in this world, we as Vaishnavas, we perceive it as potential servant of Krishna. It's an object for service to Krishna that way. Mayavadis won't perceive like that. They will see it as illusion and they want to reject that illusion this way. And the materialists, they don't want to see it as illusion. They want, actually, they think that this is for my enjoyment this way. So that's the Bhranti here. Bhranti. So one has to reform his mentality, and by that, the right conception will come this way. The formless Brahman conception, however, can be received only by oral reception and not by personal experience. Knowledge is therefore acquired by oral reception. Prabhupada is saying that knowledge means it can't be seen, no? So it should be received by ears, oral receptions. So one has to acquire pure knowledge from the authorized scriptures in this way. So scriptures will give that purification of consciousness. They will give the right knowledge, and when practices that knowledge, it will become the right consciousness by which one's perception will be very pure this way. So that is the point of this verse. And then one example is given here, the next verse, to tell that how everything is coming from the Supreme Lord only. So one example is given that just as Mahat Tattva turns into all these different factors like five gross material elements and five subtle sense objects and intelligence and karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, sense devatas. How one Mahat Tattva only transforms into all this. So similarly, it is mentioned that it is actually one Supreme Lord's energy only, which is getting transformed into various things that we see in this world. Yatha mahanaham rupas trivrit panchavidha swarat ekadasha vidhastasya vapurandam jagadyatah. Yes.
From the total energy, the Mahat Tattva, I have manifested the false ego, the three modes of material nature, the five material elements, the individual consciousness, the 11 senses, and the material body. Similarly, the entire universe has come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So just example is simple only. One Mahat Tattva is cause of the entire cosmic manifestation, all the universes and so many, all the varieties of things in those universes, so many species, so many bodies, and so much of all the factors of emotion, subtle, gross, this, that. Everything is coming from Mahat Tattva. So he's saying that similarly, Supreme Lord is the cause of everything. Actually, Mahat Tattva is also coming from him only. The example is actually what? It is just part of the Supreme Lord's uh, energy itself, right? Meaning what? Mahat Tattva is also, what is Mahat Tattva? The entire material energy was within Mahavishnu, and then at the time of creation, he takes out that material energy and glances and puts Jiva's Swabhav, Karma, Guna, everything in that. Gunas are there, Swabhav, Karma, and everything on that. So we see that that is Mahat Tattva. So that is actually coming from him only. That is his energy only, material energy. So the point is only this, that that Supreme Lord only expands the whole material world. So it's not that he undergoes transformation, his form is different, but his material energy undergoes the transformation. For Mayavadi, because he does not accept the energies, so what undergoes transformation, that becomes a difficult question for him. If you accept this material world as real, where from this material world come? So this material world, if you say it's coming from Brahman, तो फिर तो ब्रह्मन का विकार हो गया. ब्रह्मन से something is coming from Brahman which is Asat Achit Nirananda. They can't understand how this is possible. Or basically because they don't accept energies, so they can't explain it. That how the absolute truth which is Satchidananda, can cause something which is Asat Achit Nirananda, which is this world. Right? It's like you have the mango tree. So how is mango tree producing the pomegranate? Material world is like pomegranate and spiritual world is like mango. So how is mango producing the pomegranate? But our point of Vaishnavism is mango is not producing pomegranate. Mango has pomegranate as his energy, and that pomegranate is only getting transformed. Material energy is getting transformed into material world. Lord is not getting transformed. Tat Shakti Parinam. That is our Siddhanta. भगवान की शक्ति का विकार है ये भौतिक जगत. भगवान का विकार नहीं है. भगवान अविकारी है. Lord cannot undergo transformation. His form remains without any transformation. What undergoes transformation is the material energy. This is the very huge difference between Vaishnavism and Mayavad. For Mayavad, because they don't accept Krishna's energies, so for them, then the material world has to be illusion, because otherwise, where from it is coming? How can Satchidananda Brahma produce Asatachit Nirananda material energy? So it's like difficult for them to explain like that. But we are saying Lord is there with multiple energy, so he has this material energy, and that material energy is transformed into material world. That is the point. And he possesses this energy eternally. So you can't ask the question that how did this energy come? Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only changed from one form to another. So this is accepted even in science also, for that matter, the law of conservation of energy. So it is actually true at the transcendental level. Energy is never created. Krishna never creates material energy. He possesses material energy for eternity. And he possesses spiritual energy for eternity. So Jivatmas are never created, or material energy is never created. Material world is created. That is fine. That is when Paramatma Mahavishnu glances on the Prakriti and further. So that is a cyclical creation in that way. Okay. The Supreme Lord is described as Mahatpada, which means the total material energy known as Mahat Tattva is lying at his lotus feet. So from that Mahat Tattva, everything is coming out. That's all the point is. Swarat means independent. The Supreme Lord is independent, and the individual soul is also independent. But we see that the Supreme Independent Lord similarly has the gigantic body of the universe. So this whole universe is his body only, in the sense that it is his material energy's transformation. So nothing much in that. It's clear point actually. Etadvai Shraddhaya Bhaktya Yogabhyasena Nityashah Samahitatma Nihsango Viraktya Paripashyati. So how does one develop this knowledge? That idea is spoken. By what qualities does one develop this knowledge of transcendence? Yes.
This perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thought of the Supreme. He is aloof from material association.
Yeah, so very important factors to develop the transcendental knowledge, to sustain and stabilize the transcendental knowledge in our heart. So bhaktya, by the devotional service process, shraddhaya, with a great shraddha, yogabhyasena nityashaha. So because it is also speaking about jnana and yoga paths, so that is added yogabhyasena. Samahitatma nisango viraktya, and also virakti, the aspect of detachment, like that. So we see these aspects are very important for developing the transcendental knowledge. On the path of bhakti, we don't have to extraneously strive for it, but still one has to check whether the virakti is happening, whether one is becoming free from attachment. if one's Shraddha is increasing. So these factors also apply for bhakti, like that. The atheistic mystic practitioner of yoga cannot understand this perfect knowledge. They have to engage in bhakti. If you are atheistic, then yoga or jnana cannot give the perfection. इत्येतत् कथितं गुर्वी ज्ञानं तद् ब्रह्म दर्शनं येनानुबुध्यते तत्त्वं प्रकृतेः पुरुषस्य च.
My dear respectful mother, I have already described the path of understanding the absolute truth, by which one can come to understand the real truth of matter and spirit and their relationship.
So he says that I have already explained to you this path of jnana, by which you can understand Prakriti Purush. So actually that is explained in chapters 26, 27. So it is remaining yet. We have not studied yet that. But yeah, those are the chapters that we will be studying next. So Gurvi means, oh respected mother. Guru, the word Guru in feminine becomes Gurvi, like that. Guru, Gurvi, in that. So he's calling his mother as Gurvi, my dear respectful mother, like that. Jnana yogascha manyashto nairgunyo bhakti lakshanah dvayorapyeka evartho bhagavat shabda lakshanah.
Philosophical research culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After achieving this understanding, when one becomes free from the material modes of nature, he attains the stage of devotional service, either by devotional service directly or by philosophical research. One has to find the same destination, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So this verse is also very beautiful to talk about this aspect. Actually, Kapila is saying, I have explained to you jnana, bhakti and all that, but you understand, jnana yogascha mannishto. Actually, jnana yoga is also sheltered in me only. Jnana yoga is also dependent on me only. Mannishta, meaning it also has support of me only. Why? Because that jnana yoga and the benefit of that jnana yoga, I only give that. Nairgunyo bhakti lakshana, because jnana cannot be free without, jnana cannot be complete. It cannot accomplish its goal without bhakti. So when you practice bhakti along with jnana, then it is a path of nirguna, nirgunya path. Otherwise, if you only practice jnana without bhakti, it is not a proper process. It is it will not give you the desired goal of transcending the material existence. Kaivalyam jnanam, only jnana, it is considered a sattvic path actually. But mannishto, that jnana which is followed along with a proper understanding of bhakti, that is actually transcendental path. Dvayor apeka evartho bhagavad shabda lakshana. So whether you take the path of jnana or whether you take path of bhakti, both of them are actually, they have this goal as Bhagwan only, Bhagavad Shabda Lakshana. दोनों का भी एक ही अर्थ यानी गोल, पर्पस, that is Bhagavan. It's just that Jnani achieves that Bhagavan feature in a partial feature, while Bhakta attains the complete realization of that Supreme Lord, isn't it? But actually, whether Jnana, Yoga, see, Jnana Yogascha here means even Jnana and Yoga, because both of them have same goal, no? So that's why oftentimes Jnana and Yoga are equated only. Here also you can see Kapila is not separately mentioning Yoga. ही इज सेइंग एक ज्ञान योग है और एक भक्ति है, दोनों both are actually having the goal as Bhagwan only. So why is yoga not mentioned? Because yoga is also having primarily that goal only of Brahman. Huh? Those who have the goal of attaining Paramatma to serve Paramatma, that is a different kind of yogi. Huh? It's like a devotee yogi then. Huh? So the opportunity for direct touch with the personality of Godhead, where it is also given in Bhagavad Gita, where it is also said that those who take to other processes, they have much trouble. Huh? Bhakti process is not troublesome, but the other paths are very troublesome. And okay, even with that trouble, what you achieve is a partial feature of the Supreme, isn't it? Huh? So that's how all those paths actually are dependent on Bhagavan, on Bhakti, but they give a partial feature of the Supreme. That too with so much of trouble on those paths. यथेन्द्रियै पृथग्द्वारैर् अर्थो बहुगुणाश्रयः एको नानायते तद्वद् भगवान शास्त्रवर्त्मभिः. Again, this verse also is a very classic verse. It is summarizing what he spoke.
A single object is appreciated differently by different senses due to its having different qualities. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, but according to different scriptural injunctions, he appears to be different.
Yeah, so you see, very nice example is given by Kapila Muni. यथेन्द्रियै पृथग्द्वारैर् अर्थो बहुगुणाश्रयः. He says that actually one Bhagavan only, he appears by different methods mentioned in Shastra differently, just as one object through different senses gives different understandings, right? Like take the example of milk. So one milk, when one sees through eyes, it looks a white liquid. But when one touches the milk, so then it has that touch. The milk, depending on whether it is cold milk or hot milk. So we see that the aspect of touch would make us understand whether it is viscous or whether it's zara pani milaya hua doodh hai, or it is like rabdi. And if the milk is also fragrant, then the nose will get that sense of fragrance. And finally, the taste. The taste will actually give a very great understanding about that milk, that, how is it? Is it tasty? Is it good milk? Is it spoiled, or is it mixed with too much water? Is it cow milk or is it buffalo milk? Right? So Bahu Gunashraya, that milk has a lot of qualities, but they are perceived differently by different senses. But they can be perceived only if the mind is there along with the senses when we are perceiving. Understand this point. This is a very important point. If the mind is missing in perception, then you will not have the perception. Like you are drinking the milk, but suppose your mind is thinking something else. And then you drank the milk and somebody asked you, was there sugar in the milk? And you say, oh, sugar was there or not there. So you're not able to tell whether sugar was there. Why? Because actually you drank the milk, but you never tasted it because the mind was somewhere else. So in order for perception to occur, the mind should combine with the gross sense. There is gross sense, there is subtle sense, and there is mind. These three things are there. So we can see that by that, the externally, the jivva should be there. And then there is this sense of rasa that is internally there within the subtle body, and also the mind. So these factors combine, then the perception occurs. So if the mind is missing, then you see that one drank the milk, but he cannot tell whether it was sugar or whether it had sugar or not. Uh, Similarly, sometimes it happens, right? You're walking on the street, but you're thinking something else. So someone may just pass by, uh, he may pass in front of you, and the person may say, yeah, today morning I saw, but you'd never saw him. Why? Because you're thinking something else. Or your eyes were also in that direction, but you never saw him. So you can see that is because the mind was not there, mind was missing. So you have to have the mind in order to have the perception. Similarly, you have to have bhakti in order to have the perception of the Lord by your individual process. You may be following jnana, you may be following yoga, you may be following the nishkam karma, but unless and until that bhakti element is present, the particular goal of that path, it cannot be achieved. So the perfect perception here is being compared to the goal. That goal can be achieved only if the mind is present. This way. So that mind is being compared to the aspect of bhakti. With that bhakti, we see then that particular path will give whatever is the goal. Like you can achieve, you can see that Bhagavan as some material accomplishment. That those are the paths like Sakam Karma, where you see the perfection of that path is Svarga or some material enjoyment. That's it. So you have perceived only a brief portion of Bhagavan's material energy. Itna hi dekha tumne. If you follow path of jnana and achieve impersonal Brahman, so you have perceived the impersonal Brahman feature of that Supreme. If you follow the path of yoga, so you have also achieved that particular feature of the Supreme Lord, which is prevalent in the material world, Paramatma. But with the bhakti process, you achieve the complete understanding of the Supreme Lord, that Bhagavan feature. So this is how it is being mentioned here. So mind is that factor which is actually common factor in all the perception, in all the entire perception. So it is, that is why it is considered that mind is considered to be the hub or center of all the senses. It can perceive what every other sense can perceive also, like that. So that's why the subtle bodies, even without gross, like on the Martyaloka, on Bhu planet, you may have gross bodies, but on the upper planets, then slowly, slowly it starts becoming subtler and subtler body, and still they can perceive everything because the subtle matter has the ability to perceive which the gross matter has. So taking that analogy further, what it means is a bhakti process, it can perceive all the qualities of that milk of Bhagavan. Just like mind can perceive all the qualities of the milk, similarly bhakti process can perceive all the qualities of Bhagavan. In this way, it is being glorified. So both Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga are meant for reaching the same destination, the personality of Godhead. A hill appears cloudy from a distance, and one who does not know may speculate that the hill is cloud. Another example is in perceiving milk. So you know the hill example. It is very popular. So milk, when we see milk, we see that it is white. So seeing it may be white, and like we explained the example. Perceiving milk with different senses, we say that it is something white, delicious, aromatic, like that. But it is actually one substance called milk. Similarly, those who are trying to find the Supreme Godhead by mental speculation may approach the bodily effulgence or the impersonal Brahman. And those who are trying to find Paramatma, they may realize him as localized super soul. But those who are studying the Lord by Bhakti Yoga, serving him by Bhakti Yoga, they can see him face to face. It is like tasting all the features of the milk, not just form or not just sound or not just, taste or like that. No, 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 all the features one can perceive. So that is how. So this is a very wonderful example that he is giving. Just as one can appreciate the real taste of milk with the tongue and not with the eyes, nostrils, or ears, one can similarly appreciate the absolute truth perfectly and with all relishable pleasure only through one path, which is devotional service. This way. By following various scriptural paths, one may come to the impersonal effulgence. But actually, we see that that path may be also giving some great Brahmananda, but that unlimited pleasure can also be surpassed by Bhakti Ananda, by Bhakti process. So everybody is trying to realize certain aspect of that same Bhagavan. Understand this. सकाम कर्मी वो भी उसी भगवान का कुछ एक शक्ति का अंश उसके अनुभव को प्रयास कर रहा है. Like he wants to get swarga or he wants to get some material benefit, some enjoyment. It is what? It is a small manifestation of Lord's material energy. So he is settled with that only. Jnani is higher. He is settled with Lord's Brahman effulgence. Yogi is settled with, Lord and Lord's material energies, that level of understanding. But a bhakta, he is the one who gets the complete understanding of all his energies and that feature where he can personally see the Lord and serve him face to face. As the mind is the center of all activities of senses, Krishna is called the master of the senses. This way. So that's how Bhakti is the basic principle of all processes. Without Bhakti, neither Jnana Yoga nor Ashtanga Yoga can be successful. And unless one approaches Krishna, the principles of self-realization have no ultimate destination. So that's why a Mayavadi can never succeed in attaining Brahman. A Brahma Jnani can succeed, but a Mayavadi can never succeed because he has great misconception about Bhakti, and that's why he does not practice Bhakti, and that's how he does not get his goal. So these are the concluding verses now. Kriyaya kratubhirdhanai tapaswadhyaya maršanai atmendriya jayenapi sanyasena cha karmanam yogena vividhangena bhakti yogena chaivahi dharmeno bhaya chihnena yah pravrutti nivrittiman atmatatvavabodhena vairagyena dridhena cha iyate bhagavanebhi saguno nirguna swadrik. Yes.
By performing fruitive activities and sacrifices, by distributing charity, by performing austerities, by studying various literatures, by conducting philosophical research, by controlling the mind, by subduing the senses, by accepting the renounced order of life, and by performing the prescribed duties of one's social order, by performing the different divisions of yoga practice, by performing devotional service, and by exhibiting the process of devotional service containing the symptoms of both attachment and detachment, by understanding the science of self-realization, and by developing a strong sense of detachment, one who is expert in understanding the different process of self-realization realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is represented in the material world as well as in transcendence.
Yes. So he's concluding now by saying all the different methods. It was written here, right? Shastra Vartma bhi. All the different paths mentioned in Shastra. So he mentions the different paths and means mentioned in Shastra in terms of the duties of or the means of all the various ashramas. So you see, Kriyaya Kritubhi Dane, the rituals and then the sacrifices, charity, it is meant for which ashram? It is for Grihastha ashram. Tapah Swadhyaya Marshanaihi. And we see that uh, Tapah is meant for Vanaprastha ashram. Swadhyaya Marshana is meant for Brahmacharya ashram. You can see Swadhyaya, studies, and Marshana, which means contemplation. So that is one of the major duties of Brahmachari. Studying Shastras, contemplating the Shastras, and of course serving Guru, no doubt. Atmendriya Jayanapi Sanyasena cha Karmanam. And these are the duties of sannyasi now. Complete control over the senses and giving up all the karma, giving up all the karma like kamya karma and all those aspects of nitya naimittik karma, giving up those varnashrama duties. So all these are different processes for different ashramas, right? Yogena vividhangena bhakti yogena chaivahi. And someone may perform yoga, someone may perform other paths, but bhakti yoga is said to be common denominator. Depending on what he's following, right? Pravrutti, nivrutti man. One may be following sakam karma kand. Someone may be following nishkam karma or jnana or yoga. But these factors are common. Bhakti yoga is needed only. Atma tattva bodhena vairagyana dridhena cha. And by understanding of Atma tattva, by vairagya, that one Bhagavan, iyate Bhagavan, one Bhagavan only, he is understood as Saguna or Nirguna or Swadrik. Three ways. So, Lord is understood as Saguna, which means one sees him as fulfillment of some material desire, like those who are aspiring for Swarga and all that. Their attainment of the absolute truth or the Supreme Lord is actually Saguna, it is within the material energy. Nirguna refers to those who achieve the Brahman. And Swadrik literally means actually the constitutional position of the Lord. So, what is the constitutional position of the Lord? Is it material energy? Is it Brahman? No, it is that Bhagavan feature. So, that Swadrik is attained by the devotees. So, you see, this is sum and substance of this section. That one Bhagavan only is perceived and attained as Saguna by followers like Sakam Karmis, as Nirguna by followers of Yoga and Jnana, and as Swadrik as followers of Bhakti. Swadrik literally means, see, Prabhupada also writes, one who sees his constitutional position. Swadrik means that Supreme Lord who is always glancing on his swajanas, on his near and dear ones. So that is Bhagavan feature, who is constantly glancing on his beloved devotees that way. So that's how Brahmacharya Grihastha Vanaprastha Sannyas, we spoke about this. So Bhakti Yogena Chaivahi had come here, right? Bhakti Yogena Chaivahi. So Prabhupada is focusing there. The words Chaivahi, Bhakti Yogena Chaivahi, indicate that one must perform all these activities mixed with devotional service. Otherwise, such activities will not produce any fruit. That is clear. So, pravrittipat, nivrittipat, karmakand is pravritti, nishkam karma yoga, jnana yoga is nivrittipat. So, whatever goal you want to achieve, whether it is svarga or whether it is Brahman or spiritual world, one has to mix it with bhakti. Otherwise, it's not possible to attain that goal this way. So you can see. All right, that's it. Text 37. Pravocham bhakti yogasya swarupam te chaturvidham kalasya cha vyaktagater yo antardhavati jantushu. Yeah.
My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them.
In 4 different social division is written there in the book. Prabhu, when
Yes,
you read
Prabhu.
the translation, okay.
Different social divisions.
Social divisions. Okay. Actually, this verse means that I have already spoken about Bhakti Yoga Swarup to you in 4 forms. तो वो social division कैसे आ गया? Because here also it is only 4 different divisions. So this is fine. Social division would mean something else, no? It would mean Varnashrama and all that. So Bhakti Yoga, you remember, Kapila has explained 4 types of bhakti. That's what is meant here. What are 4 types of bhakti? Do you remember?
3 modes, one transcendental.
Exactly. One is Saguna Bhakti, which is categorized into 3, Satviki Bhakti, Rajasiki, Tamasi, and 4th one is Nirguna. So that is what is mentioned here. भक्ति योग से स्वरूपम ते चतुर्विधम 4 प्रकार की भक्ति मैंने आपको समझाई है कालस्य चा व्यक्त गते है यो and I also spoke to you about kala. This was all discussed in chapter 29. We have discussed it already. The process of bhakti yoga is the main river flowing down towards the sea of absolute truth, and all other processes mentioned just are like tributaries. जीवस्य संसृतिर्भव्येर अविद्या कर्म निर्मिता ज्ञास्वंग प्रविशन्नात्मा न वेद गतिमात्मना.
There are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, if anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end.
Yeah. And Lord also explained the samsritis, the various movements of the living entities, right? Caused by avidya, avidya causing karma, karma causing these uh, samsritis, which means destinations. So he spoke about 3 kinds of destinations, sattviki, rajasiki, tamasic. So once one enters into that, then na veda gatimatmana, one actually we see that he loses all sense of what is his real identity. So he spoke about that also, isn't it? He has already spoken about it. So Prabhupada says, therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself or sends his bona fide representative and he lives behind scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that living entities hovering in the darkness of nations may take advantage of the instructions and the saintly persons and the spiritual masters and thus be freed. Without mercy of Guru, it's not possible to come out of darkness of material existence. Brahmand Brahmite kon bhagyavan jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Puij. So it's a great grace given to us, mercy given to us, that we have come to the path of pure devotional service. So now it's up to us how we make advancement on this path. So Kapila is just concluding his instruction. Now finally he says whom this knowledge should be given and who is not qualified to receive this knowledge. Meaning, who will actually benefit from this knowledge? Not that, if these qualities mentioned are like so rare and so wonderful that if you see hardly anyone has these qualities, so then is it that we will not share the knowledge to them? No, the point here is who will benefit from this knowledge? This knowledge will actually benefit to the person who has these qualities. Naitat khalayopadishenna vinitaya karhichit nastabdhaya na bhinnaya naiva dharma dhvajaya cha. Yes.
Lord Kapila continued. This instruction is not meant for the envious, for the agnostics, or for persons who are unclean in their behavior, nor is it for hypocrites or for persons who are proud of material possessions.
Yeah. So we see that somebody is a khala, somebody is very wicked, avinit, he is not humble, very proud, and he's just a hypocrite, dharmadhvaji. So for such people, we see that this instruction is not meant for them. Right? So this instruction is actually helpful for those who are humble, those who have devotion, and at least theoretically one should accept these truths, right? If one is outrightly envious or he's one just so proud, and so such a person, he is not eligible to receive this knowledge. This is the point. So in preaching, we may be compassionate and we will share this knowledge with all, but we have to see that, if the person does not develop these qualities, at least in the course of getting this knowledge, then this knowledge will not sink in. One will not benefit so much by this. Na lolupayopadishen, na griharudha chetase, na bhaktaya chame jatu, na madbhakta dvishamapi.
It is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, nor to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees and of the personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So especially somebody who is extremely attached to the house and he's a non-devotee, so then such a person may not be able to appreciate these instructions. And jatu na madbhakta dvishamapi, and especially this should never be shared with those who are envious of devotees, because that will increase their envy all the more. This knowledge, which is so wonderful, instead of pacifying them, it may increase their envy. So the point is, knowledge like this section of Kapila Muni, the knowledge of such important details of bhakti and all, it needs a caliber of the candidate. At least the candidate should accept the process of bhakti, should start practicing it. He should be a humble soul. So these are the expectations. Not that you just look for a person who is free from all these faults. So very few people will be like that in this world then. But point is, yes, one person to be avoided is this Madbhakta Dvisham, certainly. One who is extremely envious of devotees, then he should be avoided. But otherwise, the other aspects, like somebody being attached too much to household life or like non-devotees, these are the common general audiences today, right? So we share the knowledge, but we have to also tell and impart this aspect that it's not just matter of studying, but it's matter of practicing the process, developing devotional qualities, becoming humble, giving up pride, and then this knowledge will have the impact. Persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible to understand Krishna consciousness. So it should not be shared with them. Persons who, due to being initiated by another sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as common platform, also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. We have seen that some students come to join us, but because of being biased in some particular type of faith, they leave our camp and become lost in the wilderness. So sometimes we see that they have certain bias. They are not so much open to hear the ideas and all. So then they can't also survive in Krishna consciousness, isn't it? One should be open to understand Krishna consciousness, isn't it? Mind is said to be like a parachute. It works when it is open. What will a closed parachute do? You will only fall and break your limbs, right? So similarly, anyone can join this movement without prejudice, but unfortunately, there are persons who feel differently. Shraddhadhanaya bhaktaya vinitaya nasuyave bhuteshu kritamaitraya shushrusha bhirataya cha.
Instruction should be given to the faithful devotee who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, and eager to render service with faith and sincerity.
Yeah, so all these qualifications, they are completely smashing the idea of just the academic scholarship, right? Because these academic scholars, they don't want to practice anything. They don't want to develop all these qualities, but they want to become learned scholars of this knowledge. So very conveniently, they skip such verses. You see that one time one Bhagavatam scholar I had met. I mean, I keep on meeting these people because of some service or other, or sometimes on certain ideas. And, you know, so these qualities which we have to develop and all that. So these sections they skip. So he was telling me that, yeah, because we don't practice these and also I skip these sections, he said. Uh, Otherwise, I feel some sort of guilt that I am not developing. So in one way, he is some kind of, he is a pious soul only. It's just that he does not practice bhakti and also. He was a Rajasthani guy and he was saying to me that, yeah, all these qualities are mentioned. So Shastras always mention these qualities should be developed. Uh, so those who are academic scholars, we see that they fail here because they never try to develop these qualities and all. They just are looking for the information. Bahirjata viragaya shantachittaya diyatam nirmatsaraya shuchaye yasyaham preyasam priyaha.
This instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, who are not envious of anyone, who are perfectly cleansed, and who have developed detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, so for all of us to stabilize, to allow this knowledge to sink and stabilize and realize in our heart, so we see that these are the qualities that are explained. Shraddhadhanaya, Vinitaya, Anasuyave, a very big qualification, right? Becoming free from envy, heart. Bhruteshu Kritamaitraya, becoming friendly to all living beings by sharing this knowledge. Shushrusha Bhirataya, and one who is very eager to render faithful service to spiritual master and all the everyone else. One who is detached from the sense enjoyment. He's Shanta Chitta. He's a peaceful person. Again, Nirmatsaraya comes. See, twice it has come, so many times. Non-envious, non-envious, non-envious. Like that. In the beginning, no one can be elevated to a higher stage of devotional service. Here, bhakta means one who does not hesitate to accept the reformatory processes for becoming a bhakta. So nice. Huh? Prabhupada is explaining, you can see. Bhakta means one who does not hesitate to accept the reformatory processes. That is a bhakta, right? Like in Bhagavad Gita, he also says that at least one should theoretically accept Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he can understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So similarly here also, at least one should theoretically accept that these qualities should be developed and one starts practicing it. This way. One must be prepared to offer the necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. One should not be unnecessarily envious of his god brothers. Very important. Rather, if a god brother is more enlightened and advanced in Krishna consciousness, one should accept him as almost equal to the spiritual master. And one should be happy to see such god brothers advance in Krishna consciousness. Right? Sometimes some of our god brothers may be very advanced and very great devotees. So we shouldn't become just envious thinking, Arey, after all, we both have the same guru. So one accepts such a person like almost like a spiritual master. And one can be very happy to see such god brothers who have made great advancement in bhakti. Like that. So envy, that should be driven away. So for that one can develop the friendship with devotees, then the envy goes away, right? If we cultivate friendship, then we see that even if some envy existed, it will go away because then we start appreciating each other. The word Shushrusha Bhirataya indicates a person who faithfully engages in serving the spiritual master. One should give personal service and all kinds of comforts to the spiritual master. So as much as opportunity to serve personally and help in his mission, wonderful, like that. Bahirjata viragaya, which means that one who has developed detachment from external and internal material propensities. So not only that we are staying away from sense gratification, but he should be internally averse to the material way of life. So this is very subtle, right? We actually want to keep ourselves away from sense enjoyment and that kind of influence of the desires. Internally, one relishes this life where the purity can be practiced. Not that one is externally lying amongst the association of sincere sadhakas, but internally he is feeling, अरे क्या हो रहा है, कहाँ आ गया इधर, फंस गए इधर आके. Not like that. He relishes that. Just like a true Kshatriya relishes the fight. So similarly, a genuine sadhaka relishes the fight with mind and senses in order to serve Krishna. He does not get morose by that fight. This way. The word diyata means that knowledge of Krishna consciousness should be offered by the spiritual master. The spiritual master must not accept a disciple who is not qualified. He should not be a professional and should not accept disciple for monetary gains. An unworthy person should not be initiated. At least the person should have fulfilled the basic qualifications, right? Sometimes there is a great eagerness to just initiate people, but they are unworthy people. Why? It's actually desire to gain followers. That's the purpose. But it is not good. If somebody is not fulfilling that basic proper requirement, then such a person should wait, no? Let him take time. But unworthy people, then they cause a lot of problem also. So in this way, yaidam shrunuyadamba shraddhaya purusha sakrit Yo vabhidhatte macchitta saheti padavinchame.
Anyone who once meditates upon me with faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to Godhead.
So in this way, Mother, whatever I spoke here, these instructions to you, if one hears these instructions with great Shraddha, Sakrit even once, Yovabhidhatte, or if he repeats this knowledge of being completely conscious of me, so such a person will certainly attain me. So he is also blessing to those who are hearing this knowledge and those who are repeating this knowledge. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of third canto, 32nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so that completes chapter 32. If you want to ask anything, you may ask now. Or if any of you need to go for prasadam, please go ahead. The session is over. Anything on this, if you wish to check, you may ask. We can have.
Before anyone leaves, because it is our last session as of now. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. We're really grateful being here. Means I requested Prabhuji that Kapila section you can take. Prabhuji really from his heart trying to help us no matter how much time it is taking. And really we are getting so much benefited. All the directions of this section is so beautifully coming in alignment and understanding. And actually, personally, I feel very satisfied when Prabhuji takes so peacefully all the verses so nicely. It is so, it's like I'm reading, I feel. Really, thank you, Prabhuji. So let us very heartily thank His Bliss Connection through my one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
As long as you tolerate my tantrums and my, extended sessions and unpredictable sometimes cancellations, so I am okay. I am happy to teach. Once it goes beyond your tolerance level, then you can, you need not consider, then no problem.
We can tolerate many other things by hearing your lectures. This material world spanks.
Yes. Okay, Pandurang Sharan Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you again. This speed is good because we get time to think and not just rush through, even though.
This speed is good. For me, it is the best. This is how I teach in IBM. And yeah, this speed only.
At least I feel one more class extra is worth it because we don't have to rush through and we feel that we are studying actually. Otherwise, वो course formality हो जाता है. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
thank you so much for that. Just this 29, just wanted to ask, understand this.
Recently, just a minute and then
Yes,
you
Prabhuji.
continue.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Somebody was asking me to come to teach in one of the places, and they said, then this was also Kapil Shiksha, and they said, so I said for so this three topics 31 30 31 32. So this topic of, okay, for these three chapters how much time, I was asking for various sections. So they said, Prabhuji, for three chapters 6 hours. 30, 31, and 32. I said 6 hours for three. No, I will need 6 hours for one. So then oh, Prabhuji, this is not possible. So I said, teaching is not possible. Then, I said, I need for one chapter 6 hours. Two sessions will be needed, not for three of them. So 2 hours, you can imagine so many concepts, right? We saw now how the chapters also have so much Jiva's prayers, and then beautiful section of that Dussanga. That here also so many concepts. This last section was also so good. So it's not possible. So yeah, if you are happy with this speed, then it is very nice. Yes. Okay, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Guruji. Actually, at least this sections are directly related to our practicing bhakti.
Yeah.
So this has to be taken in detail. So many modes we can practice bhakti if we are not clear about what we are practicing. So at least it's good that we are spending more time in this. Other sections may not, but this is very much direct with practice. So thank you for that. So just wanted to ask you this 29 verse now. Previously also had this question, but if you can just elaborate. Many times the ego, this conception of ego, it seems like created after the material world is created. Because here also it's aham rupa mentioned, but we mention it as false ego. Many times maybe it is, I guess it's mentioned only on ego. So the sense of I-ness seems like it's created after the material creation comes into existence, after the Mahatattva and after the glance of Vishnu. So if we can just elaborate on that concept.
Actually, yeah. This question you can ask in 26th chapter, Prabhu. It will be very classic discussion because this will come now. In 26th chapter, we will talk about lakshanas of every tattva. Tattvanam lakshanam prathak. So every tattva will discuss ahankar, chitta, mahat tattva, then pancha jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, pancha mahabhutas, everything. So there is a very nice discussion there of ahankar and this whole aspect of why it is placed where in the creation and all. So we can discuss this there because then it is also very appropriate. Why like that? So it is mentioned, it is explained by Kapila Muni himself actually. So what happens is this aspect of creation that we have to see, the Mahatattva, when it is generated, after that, we are talking about the aspect of Ahankar. So now when we talk about this Ahankar, so that's what, like, actually, let it go. I'll answer this in that section. See, first we have to know the first factor is Chittam. Chittam forms the basis of perception. That is Chitta. And then on that, this especially very particular thing called Ahankar builds up. That this is the identity and this is what I think to be. So before that, the perception at least should be there. So that perception is settled with the aspect of Chitta. And then after that, over that Ahankar is built up. And after that, then specific, the mind and all those aspects will come. So before this aspect of tying the matter and spirit, one factor before that is settled with Mahatattva, which is the factor of the perception itself should occur. The mind, the spirit being able to perceive the material objects. And that's why Ahankar is coming later in the second stage instead of coming as first. So just in principle, I told you that, but yeah, it's elaborately discussed there. So we can take it there.
Yes, yes, Guruji. Because to perceive also sense of I should exist, so little bit elaboration is required.
Yeah, I can. That topic is there. Exactly, that topic is there.
Yes,
Or
Guruji.
maybe you just write, just send me a message personally. If it is too much boiling, then I'll answer that, and there we can
No,
take
no,
it.
I can hold on, Guruji. I can hold on, Guruji. Better we discuss nicely.
Yes, because then you will understand this aspect of the antakaran only, how it works. Then it's very nice then. You understand what chitta does, what mind does, what ahankar does, and what buddhi does. So with that, the whole mechanism will become very clear.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes. Narhari Thakur Prabhu.
Guruji, thank you for this wonderful session. Guruji, that qualifications are so told for the hearer, it should not be shared with envious. I feel that envious with the devotees, so generally devotees are envious with the other devotees. That happens with others outside are generally not envious with the devotees. So already Prabhupada given that idea, but the envy and this is subtle concepts. So is there means how we can discriminate or we should discriminate or not means that's understand because it is said that if qualification comes later means machitta madhugata prana bodha parasparam. So that non-enviousness, all this is developed by engaging in devotional service. So before some this prerequisite I mentioned. So what is it in it? Or one can understand.
See, Prabhu, it is like this that one, I mean, even you hear right second verse of Bhagavatam, it is mentioning that Dharma projita kayatavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. This knowledge is meant for those who are nirmatsara. So now, if already a person is nirmatsara, and only to such a person Bhagavatam should be spoken, then practically all of Bhagavatam class will be empty only, right? Because who is free from envy? So Vishwanath Chakravarti explains there that what it means is that, see, what is being told is the actual qualification for hearing Bhagavatam. It is actually that person is free from envy, then he can relish the pastimes of the Lord, then the message of Bhagavatam can really make an impact and one can relish. But he says, what if the envy is there? And naturally the envy is there. The beginners who are beginning to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, the envy will be there. So he says that by telling Nirmatsaranam Satam, the standard is being told to them that one has to strive to give it up. Now that you come to know that this envy should be given up, so one is striving extremely hard to give it up, to develop all these qualities and all. So that's why Bhagavatam is considered Paramhams Samhita, because it is actually to be relished by Paramhamsas only. But then Bhagavatam is also spoken for conditioned souls, right? Samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam. By compassion for the samsaris, Shukdev spoke this Puran. So, what does that mean is something that is ideal is being told for us so that we can start cultivating it. So, yes, we see as devotees, we may be envious and we sometimes see that envy in others, sometimes we see that in us. But point is, are we striving to give it up? Are we striving to, do we understand that it is very evil and we are also trying sincerely to give it up? So if this sort of sincere try is there, then, Bhagavatam can be heard by such people, Vishwanath Chakravarti says. And similarly, this knowledge can be heard by such people. So have you accepted it as the desired quality, and are you also striving very hard to practice it, to give it up? That's how. So complete freedom from envy, that is not the expectation over there. Complete nirmatsara. How is that possible without one has the antakaran shuddhi? So are you telling that the first audience of Kapila Shiksha should be one who has already become free from anarthas? Kaise possible hoga? It is not. So you see, the purpose of giving such qualifications is one understands that this is the real standard if I have to relish this knowledge. So then I have to strive to come to this standard. That's why Prabhupada is saying also that Bhakta means one who is ready to accept the reformation procedure of becoming a Bhakta. Not that he's already a Bhakta. If he's already Bhakta, very nice, but that's not how it is being expected. expectation is that one is ready to accept the process and one is ready to follow the process. So you see, envy may be there and all, but at least we can see that are they striving to give up envy? If they are striving, then they become the candidates of recipients of this knowledge. If somebody is not even striving, somebody is just cultivating further envy, then it is not a good scenario, right? Then we should try to help such a person appropriately by connecting him to right people, or if we have a relationship, then we can see uh, in that way. So yes, these are not Prabhu qualifications, absolute qualification in the sense that person has to be with all these qualities. Then only you will teach him first letter of this knowledge. No, point is you start teaching, but these people have to know that these qualities need to be cultivated. So that is the point of Shastra.
That's overall.
Yes. Are we going through? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you very much, Guruji, for such wonderful explanation and very detailed. Guruji, I had a desire to read this commentaries of Acharyas. So what you show in between. So, but the problem is that I am not so well versed in Sanskrit. So how means can we proceed means and parallelly means. So then this PDF is not available actually. I searched also many places. So this what you were sharing.
I have
The
my
one which
copy.
I share.
In between means when you show the Acharya's comment.
Yeah, it is available. Vilas Vadan Pro also has it, right?
Okay. Okay, I'll take it.
Yes,
But
please.
when we read, we may not understand the Sanskrit everything.
So don't read from Sanskrit. Read the translation then.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends on you. How much you want to develop, you see. How much your time you have and how much is hunger that you have. If you want to read originally from Sanskrit, then you have to study Sanskrit, learn it, learn the grammar, and
Actually,
then learn also the
30% I can understand. Means just by reading
yeah.
Bhagavatam, I could develop that.
Nim Hakim Khatrai Jan, half knowledge is very dangerous. Yeah. So अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाएगा उसमें, like that. So 30% नहीं. You have to know 100%.
Okay.
Like
But
that.
then parallelly means reading English and then both is
That is very good. That is very good. You can keep English and this side by side, and you can read this and try to see English. Like
yeah.
that. See, best standard is you read only from Sanskrit. Like I read only from Sanskrit. But for that, then I took effort also, no? I learned Sanskrit for 2, 3 years, and then I also learned the style of commentary, and then that's how. So if you want to learn like that, and you have, your counselors and all are also happy with that aspect, so then you can learn also. Like I teach Sanskrit grammar, so if you want to learn, then you can take some guidance on that matter. And then once people learn Sanskrit, then I allow them to join my commentary class. So there you then learn how to read commentaries also. So if that kind of interest is there, then slow but steady, you take some concrete steps. But if you are happy reading the translation, then you read the translation. That is okay also. Whatever depends on your desire and how much time you have, your service, and all those aspects.
And Pruji, means whenever you highlight in 3 colors. I mean, I have seen
Yeah,
yellow,
no,
blue, and
no,
purple.
nothing
So,
like, this question I keep on getting, that is there some, pattern of color, nothing like that. It's just, I'm highlighting some portion of Prabhupada's purport. And because I want to distinguish from this portion to this portion, so I put different color.
Oh.
Yeah, that is it. I was planning once to highlight, Vishwan Chakravarti is in green and all, but that was so much time. I thought that it is taking so much time. I can't do it. Always remember that Vishwan Chakravarti means in green. This means yellow. So I just said, leave it.
I was thinking when you were highlighting preaching application, personal application and knowledge part like that. It happened
Yeah.
some cases.
Yeah, I highlight something which is striking, Prabhu. And Prabhu, if Prabhupada is repeating a certain idea again and again, then I don't highlight that. But I highlight the unique point, thrust point there. Then if he goes on like that for 2, 3 para, then I will not highlight anything. Then next para, what new theme he is bringing up, that like that I highlight. That is the logic usually.
Okay.
And I certainly highlight what he quotes from commentaries because, yeah, those are very important points, which he has also placed there in the purport. So, both the acharyas have put it there in their commentaries purport. So then I highlight those also. But also Prabhupada's unique statements, golden statements. Sometimes he writes something in a very eloquent manner also, very eloquently written something. So that is also very beautiful. So these are the things. Yeah.
But one fear I have that in is trying to learn Sanskrit, so one may become proud also. Means, oh, I know all these things. Means if
Yeah.
ever. So how do we balance that? Because the
Yeah, but there are yeah, I agree. There are preachers also, no, who become proud, but we don't stop preaching, you know. Right? So many preachers become proud. I have seen that. And so many fundraisers become proud. So we don't stop fundraising. Uh, So similarly, scholars may become proud, and which is not good. So we should be careful. That's the point. Just as we want to preach, but we don't want to become proud. Uh, Similarly, we want to study Shastra, but we still want to remain humble and follow the instructions of authorities. Yeah, but one thing you will see that with the attainment of knowledge, you will become like you will have a strong stand on things. So if that is sometimes seen as a pride, that is not very right thing because he has the knowledge, so he will speak, right? Isn't it? If if one develops the knowledge, then he will obviously speak it. But that should never be presented in a way that it is very proud and you should just be against the ignorance. That is the aspect. You should not be against submissive service and submission and obedience and all these aspects. No. And another thing that can save from pride, and I'm saying it is easy to speak, it is not that easy to follow. But one thing is also to have a good association of scholars, Prabhu, because then you see that you are not somebody who is very great. There are so many others who know much more than you, and still they are practicing bhakti properly. So that good sangha of scholarly devotees also keeps one's feet on the ground. Uh, Studying it under guidance also helps if you are misunderstanding certain passage and then you check with others and then you get the right understanding. So good association of sincere devotee scholars, studying under guidance, these are very important factors if one wants to venture into these fields. That way. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
One question.
All right then.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, quick.
Guruji, just one question. Yesterday class you told that Shiva also gives mukti on the blessings of Vishnu. So what kind of mukti and what is the caliber of mukti which Shiva gives?
Yeah, Shiva can give the mukti like it is Shiva can certainly give Sayuja Moksha. And Jiva Goswami mentions in Paramatma Sandarbh that uh, Shiva can also give a, a person bhakti, and that by that bhakti, then one can achieve even the spiritual world. So Shiva has that ability of blessing someone also with bhakti. But if someone is worshipping exclusively Shiva, so if such people typically worship Lord Shiva for Sayujya Moksha, and he can give that, provided the person's understanding of worshipping Shiva is pure. He is not worshipping Shiva as independent Supreme Lord, then Shiva does not give them. It does not give the moksha. If one is worshipping him as one of the three deities who are equally independent, then also Lord Shiva does not give him. So these two factors, Shiva does not give him liberation. But if one is worshipping him as Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, or if one is worshipping him as someone who is actually Amsha of the Paramatma, of Supreme Lord, and he is empowered for that Tamoguna aspect. So these understandings, these ideas, understanding Shiva's and Vishnu's position properly, then it is said that Shivji can also offer the moksha to such a person. Can means he offers, then he can obviously offer. But point is, he sees the followers' mentality also, then accordingly he can. So can he bestow somebody Sayujya? He can. And can he bestow these other devotional mokshas or going back home, back to Godhead? He can actually, because he is an acharya, just as any pure devotee can. So Shiva is also an acharya of the sampradaya called Rudra, right? So can he not bestow pure devotional service? He can, 100% he can, like that. But it's just that in such cases, he will bestow devotional service, and those individuals, then they may practice bhakti and go back home, back to Godhead in that way. But can he give that? Can he bless someone with love of Godhead? 100%. It is said that yes, he can bestow someone with love of Godhead also. So that is Shiva. Okay. Okay, so let us stop here.
Just a small comment, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Quick. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, like we are not in hurry to complete Bhakti Vaibhav. So in future also you can take further more sections, important sections. And we are also comfortable online, also necessary that every section has to be offline. So we will have, क्योंकि इसी में मजा आता है, frankly speaking. क्योंकि in depth ये basically I guess this is our third or fourth before Kapil Shiksha, but we have done very in-depth study. So now we have also confidence, and then we will revise it, so it will make more sense to us. So in future also we can have over 3-4 weeks. We're not in a hurry. Don't lead in a hurry of any degree or something. So we can coolly have this. So we can relish Bhagavatam nicely. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your time.
Yeah. So this was my idea always. Only you people have. Yeah. This is my idea from day one, But somehow there are not many in agreement of that. Not in this batch, I am saying. In otherwise also. See, I wanted to increase the units in NVCC also, but I did not get the permission. Like so that's how it is. Ideally speaking, with the units that we have, like previously, that Mayapur's pattern, it was impossible to do the justice to these topics. So if you all agree, and keeping a balance of coverage and also understanding properly, but main thing is understanding. If understanding is not happening, then all that coverage is useless only, like that. So better we focus on that aspect, and then seeing your schedules and all. Yes, there is no hurry. In fact, that's what I say, that what is the hurry? Is it that you are going to do Bhakti Vaibhav 5 times? 5 बार Bhakti Vaibhav join करेंगे. Once only, no? Like that. So if just one more year it extends, where is the loss? But you have heard everything very properly and understood very nicely that way. So that is perfect. But yeah, you see, Vilas Vadan Pro is there, all of you are there. So you can decide. It's a small batch also, so good that too many minds means, too many opinions also. So it's a small batch, so more or less everybody agrees quickly.
At least
Otherwise,
on this
mundane.
matter, all are one, Guruji.
Ah,
All are on the same opinion on this point at least. I'm very happy.
yes.
को जॉब नहीं करनी है, भक्ति वेदांत की डिग्री मिस हो रही है, किसी की जॉब जा रही है, सब कूल है, सबकी वही सेवा चल रही है, रेलिश करके पढ़ना है, नोट बीटेक की
Yes.
जॉब करनी है फटाफट.
Exactly. There is no job to be taken. Right? So, yes, Prabhu. Certainly, at least some classic sections, in fourth canto, fifth canto, and all, they should be studied very thoroughly. Like I teach in Prayagraj and Kanpur also, so we go very slowly, Prabhu. Like I took for 4 units also there also for Kapila Shiksha. It became eventually 4 units. So now I'm teaching Puranjan Upakhyan there. So devotees relish and they ask so many questions. It's like one of the best audiences I ever had is Prayagraj devotees. So similarly, here also I saw that very good discussion is happening, questions, discussion. So we can continue like this for some units at least who need a good justice. Yes, so yes, we can plan all that.
Yes,
Thank you,
Guruji, thank you very much.
Guruji. We'll have
We are
next
grateful
class.
for your time.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. Guruji, so in
Yes,
the
Prabhu.
March first week also, I was thinking like the last chapter is remaining. So second week we will start from 9th March. But in the first week, if possible for you, some 1 day or 2 day, whatever you need.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah. That chapter will take 1 day only. Yes.
Okay.
Devahuti's prayers, that's all is the important thing in there. I mean, the rest of it is like easy to finish early. Yes. So possible, Prabhu. I see it's possible. And then from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. So in 5 days, we'll finish the 26, 27, 28. Yeah. That should be possible. Okay. So yes,
Thank you.
it's possible. Hare Krishna.
Sorry,
Okay.
your lunch became very, very late. Very, very sorry for that.
No problem. I just have to rush for prasadam now. Yes,
Yes,
Hare
sir.
Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.